Welcome to the class. Now today onwards I am going to focus on the most important chapter of the course called Lagrangian equation of motion. So far, whenever we have described the motion of any particle or system of particles, we have been only interested in finding out what are the forces acting on the particle, and as a consequence of forces, development of change of momentum or acceleration. So equation of motion has been mass into acceleration is F. What is this called? This is called Newton's law of motion, or this forms the backdrop of your Newtonian mechanics. Few people have contributed greatly to the mechanics. Amongst them, Lagrange and Hamilton's are also and Euler, Lagrange, Hamilton's, they are stalwarts along with Newton. So Lagrange has also developed an equation of motion where you need not to know many things. It is, you can describe, find out all the details of the motion, whatever we get as a consequence of solving F is equal to ma, or F mass into acceleration is F. Similar kind of things I can get by solving the Lagrangian equation of motion in simple words. So, how to describe an equation of motion of any system of particles? As you know, rigid body is a system of particles where interparticle distances are constants. So, rigid body can be regarded as an assembly of large many number of particles, correct? It may be continuously distributed or may be discretely distributed. So, these particles I will be saying mass of any one of the ith particle is mi. I may be any variable, so system may be comprised of m1, m2, m3 different kind of masses. So I will always vary from 1 to n. If system contains capital N number of particles, then I will vary from 1 to n, m1, m2, mn, correct? Then for describing a motion, if it is one dimensional motion, every particle may require one coordinate to describe a motion, you know, x1, x2, x3 I can say for one dimensional motion. If it is two dimensional motion, then every particle will require two coordinates. For example, in Cartesian coordinate system, I would have called x1, y1 for m1, x2, y2, correct? So total number of coordinates will be 2n. If there is a space motion, then every particle will require three coordinates, 3n number of coordinates will be required. Good. As many number of coordinates are there, you know how I write f. F is nothing, even Cartesian coordinates, f would have been x double dot I. If it is one dimensional, x double dot I only. So every particle, there would have been n such equations of motion, n second order differential equations for one dimensional motion of a n particle system. 1D motion of a n particle system, how many coordinates are required total? n coordinates will be required, correct? One particle. If there are n number, one dimensional motion, n particles, then n things are required, correct? But if there is some constant, and definitely now I am giving, if there are two dimensional motion, y double dot j, then how many total coordinates will be required? Total coordinates required will be 2n. If it is three dimensional motion, then total coordinates are required is 3n, correct? So that many total number of coordinates are required. So that means that many number of equations of motion I need to work out. So if there are just three particles into the system and three dimensional motion, total coordinate required will be 9. That means I have to solve 9 second order differential equations. It will be greatly complicated exercise. So try to appreciate, we are evolving a concept of generalized coordinates. Lesser the number of coordinates required to describe the motion, lesser will be the equations of motion which we need to solve. So instead of choosing x, y, z or r, theta, phi, we choose randomly whatever best describes the system. Those kind of coordinates we will be calling generalized coordinates. So generalized coordinates, to describe any dynamical system we require, what do I require? Generalized coordinates. And generalized coordinates in general will be represented by qj. Qj means j here can also range from 1 to n. Here is small n is degree of freedom. Small n here will go up to degree of freedom. Degree of freedom means in how many, simplest word, in how many dimensions system is free to move without violating any constants on the system. If system is having some constant, for example, bead of an abacus, abacus is a counting instrument, there is a bead. So that bead is tied on a rope or on a string. So there is one dimensional motion. So that kind of thing, if there is a constant, particle is moving on a surface of a sphere, is a constant that particle has to move on the surface of a sphere, or particle moving on the circle, inner circle or outside circle, anything I can call. So they are all constant. So generalized coordinates are the coordinates required to describe the configuration of system without violating constants on it, or simplest word, taking constant into account. How many coordinates best describes the system? So only thing here is freedom is that I can choose Q1 may I can choose x, Q2 I can choose theta. Not that here r and theta I need to choose. I can choose one coordinate from x, other coordinate I choose from the spherical system, third coordinate I can choose from your cylindrical coordinate system. So these are generalized. These coordinates are called Q1, Q2, Qj. J is n. N is degrees of freedom. So what is degrees of freedom? Generalized coordinates required to describe the system are as many as is the degree of freedom. So generalized coordinates are connected with the degrees of freedom. First of all, I am having freedom to choose generalized coordinates. Generalized coordinates can be chosen from any one of the conventional coordinate system. One can be chosen from Cartesian, other can be chosen from the spherical polar, third can be chosen from the cylindrical coordinate. Only notation is that they should be able to describe the system without violating the constants. How many generalized coordinates are required to describe the system? This. Generalized coordinates are required as is the degree of freedom. If there is a n is small n is the degree of freedom, then n coordinates will be required. So I have to build up the concept of this degree of freedom. What is degree of freedom? In simplest word, degree of freedom means system is free to move in how many dimensions. So this is degree of freedom. If I represent by n, then generalize for n, capital N number of particles in the system, that is total coordinates required minus constants, number of coordinates required to describe the system minus number of constants, So if it is 1D motion, then it is n, and if I say number of constants are k, then it is n minus k. If it is 2D motion, then I would have called 2n minus k. If it is 3D motion, it is 3n minus k. So that is degree of freedom. So whatever is degree of freedom, same number of generalized coordinates has to be chosen. So beauty of generalized coordinate is as many number of generalized coordinates, same number of equations of motions I need to solve. So here in getting degree of freedom, I require number of constants. So what are these constants? Because they also play a great role. So generalized coordinate can be chosen arbitrarily. Only restriction is that they should not violate the constants imposed on the system, and they must be able to describe the dynamical configuration. Then after generalized coordinate, I am talking about constants on motion, because everywhere generalized coordinates are chosen according to restrictions on the constants. As very number of degrees of freedom, and degrees of freedom are restricted by the number of constants. So what kind of constants? Because they are very important. Constants means restriction imposed. Constants could be your pseudonomic, SCLERONOMIC, or there could be other way, there could be rheonomic. That is one way. Pseudonomic, or there could be your rheonomic. This is one classification. Pseudonomic or your rheonomic. SCLE, pseudonomic or rheonomic. This is depending upon time dependence. So try to appreciate, I will tell you just. Time on the basis of dependence on time, constant could be cylindronomic. Cylindronomic constants are those constants which are not explicitly dependent on time. Not explicit. Explicit means clear, not explicit function of time. So those kind of motions which are independent of time, that means not moving coordinate systems, then this kind of coordinates are constants are called cylindronomic constants. Dependent upon time, they are called your rheonomic. So on the basis of time dependence, they are cylindronomic or rheonomic. So for time independent motions, like motion of a bead in the abacus, that could be a cylindronomic constant. This is rheonomic. Another thing is whether they can be written into the format of equation or inequality. If they can be written into the format of equation, then they are called your holonomic constants. I will illustrate. Holonomic. Or if they are not holonomic, then they are called non-holonomic. I will just illustrate. Like if I say a particle is moving on the surface of a sphere, then what? It is bound, and I say this something is the equation of a sphere is R square. Particle is bound to move on the surface of a sphere, then it will satisfy some kind of equation. This is equality. If I say it has to fall from the surface of, it is moving on the outer surface of the sphere and it has to fall. Then if it has to fall, then this will be x square plus y square plus z square must be greater than R square. So whenever this will be more than R square, it will fall. So if this kind of constants are imposed, that it has to fall from the surface of the sphere, it has to move on the outer surface, and this kind of constant is given, then I can easily visualize that it is moving on the outer surface of the sphere, and if this condition is satisfied, it will fall. So this kind of constant is called non-holonomic constant, and this kind of constant is called holonomic constant. And try to appreciate here also, this constant is cylindronomic, holonomic, non-dependent upon time. Both of them are non-dependent of time. So this is this thing. So on other thing is your conservative and non-conservative systems. So simplest definition of conservative dynamics also. Conservative systems. Conservative systems are those systems where forces are drawn from the potential functions. And if the forces cannot be drawn from the potential functions, they are called your non-conservative. So simplest definition you have done in where if F can be written as minus grade of your V is your potential or potential energy, whatever you want to call, definitely potential energy, grade of V, or in one dimension I would have written minus dV by dr kind of thing, then it is a conservative system. Definitely kinetic energy plus potential energy will be constant of motion under this system. And if it is not constant, then it is non-conservative. So constants, basically any such kind of things will be constants, and larger the number of constants, lesser will be the degree of freedom. Because degree of freedom is small n, very general is 3n minus k for n particle system. And degree of freedom typically I will be represented in generalized coordinates. Generalized coordinate, if I am describing anything by Qj is the generalized coordinate for any system Qj, then Qj will be Q1, Q2 up to Q small n. That is the degree of freedom. That many generalized coordinates will be required to describe a system. And as many number of generalized coordinates, same number of equations of motion we need to work out. So generalized coordinates plays a great role, and they are restricted by constants. That is why we have talked about the constants. Then we have talked about the conservative system, where the forces are drawn from the potential function or not drawn from the potential function. Try to appreciate few more things. Generalized, because basically this Lagrangian equation of motion or Hamiltonian equation of motion, they are nothing but the energy methods. So you need to know how I can write down the, if generalized coordinates are Q1, Q2, Qj, Qn, then I could have written x coordinate of any particle ith particle x coordinate can be expressed in terms of your q1, q2, qn. Try to understand this thing. xi, that is the x coordinate of ith particle, I can write like this. Definitely, similarly, or I would have said x1 is this. I would have written x2, other particle also could be written as q1, q2, qn, or very general qj I could have written. Generalized ri, position vector for these coordinates of any ith particle can be written as ri, qj, ri. Ith particle system is having capital N number of particles, so I will always go 1 to capital N. N is the number of particles in the system, and j will go from 1 to small n, which is degree of freedom. So ri can be written as ri qj. Generalized velocity, generalized velocity will be your, I can call ri dot. Ri dot is a vector quantity. Ri dot. Ri dot means simply dri by your dt. Try to appreciate this thing. For ith particle I am writing ri is ri q1, q2, qj and t. Correct? Ri maybe I can write as a depending upon your t also. Ri could be okay. Let me talk about the constants. If constants satisfy this kind of equation, q1, q2, qn is 0, then these constants should be called what? These constants are called holonomic and cylindronomic. Both the things I will call. If this kind of equation is somewhere, holonomic, cylindronomic constant. If it is function of time, this will be holonomic, rheonomic. I will explain in due course of time by giving you the example of a rigid body. But here ri is ri, q1, q2, qj for the ith particle. Similar quantity can be written for the other particle also. I am defining what is the velocity. So when ri is depending upon so many coordinates, how I would have written dri by dt? Dri by dt, which I am describing as ri dot. It will be nothing dri upon del q1, dq1. Okay, first of all I would have written dri itself. Dri is called small displacement. Dri would have been called your small displacement, generalized displacement. How dri could have been written? Del ri upon del q1 into your dq1 plus del ri upon del q2 into dq2 plus last, if it is depending upon t, then I would have written del ri by your del t into your dt. Correct? If ri is a function of q1, q2, qj, t, then I would have written del r1 by del q1 dt, del r1 upon del q2 dq2 is del r1 by del t dt. Velocity means dri by dt. So what it will become? dq1 by dt plus your dri upon your del q2 dq2 upon dt plus generalized del ri upon del qj upon del t or dqj upon dt plus last will become what? Del ri upon del t. Try to appreciate, if the constants are cylindronomic, then this term will be 0. For cylindronomic constants, it is not dependent upon time, last term will not exist. But if the constants are non-cylindronomic, then that term will also coming. That is why this velocity is called generalized velocity. It is dependent upon the constants of the system. So now this is called dot. Dri by dt is called dot. So this Ri dot, generalized velocity, is nothing. I can write this way, summation del Ri upon del Qj dot. Del Ri upon del Qj dot. Qj is not a vector quantity, type of present vector is over this. And this is over all particles. Plus del Ri upon del T. Correct? That is the generalized velocity. Now if you know the generalized velocity, kinetic energy is no far off. You can easily write kinetic energy. Kinetic energy, I have already told you. Kinetic energy is what? Half mi Ri dot square. Kinetic energy is nothing. mi Ri dot square, where Ri dot are generalized velocities. So this could be written as half mi Ri dot. I would have always written summation. So here I will go from where to where? 1 to n. Now whenever I am going to write this thing, Ri dot, which is nothing, del Ri upon del Qj dot plus del Ri upon del T. So here try to represent there are two summations. I can put first summation over I is 1 to n. Second I can write j is equal to 1 to small m. Correct? That is how that many generalized coordinates are there. So this whole square. This thing I could have written. Summation is, whether I write or not, understood is there is two summations already I have invoked. That is how generalized kinetic energy can be written. Mi del Ri upon del Qj dot plus del I by del T whole square. This may be written as, this term can be written as the quadratic functions of velocity. This can be written as a Qj dot Qk dot. This is the quadratic function of any some dummy variable q I have introduced. They are all will going from 1 to small n. K will also go from 1 to small n. Q1 dot, Q2 dot, Q2 dot, Q3 dot, Q1 dot square, Q2 dot square. This is called quadratic functions of velocity. A is some constant. Plus it could be written as B Qj dot plus C some constant. These kind of things are written if the constants are function of time. If the constants are independent of time, then it will be only quadratic term. Then this will be only quadratic term. Try to appreciate this thing. If constants are not functions of time, not explicit functions of time, then K, this is, and K is written as T, which is nothing, summation mi Ri dot square half this kinetic energy. This is quadratic function only, Qj dot Qk dot some constant, a Qj dot, only quadratic functions of velocity. We will be demonstrating in due course of time. Kinetic energy plays a great role in Lagrangian equation of motion. So now try to understand. Generalized momenta. Generalized. You have understood what is generalized displacement? Generalized displacement. What I have called generalized displacement? Dri, which was nothing. Dri upon. I need not write the summation whenever I am writing I and j, that means summations are understood. Dri by dqj plus del Ri by your del T dt. That is how Dri. Dt is correct. That is how. Now generalized momenta. Pj is nothing del T upon del Qj dot. That is the definition of generalized momenta. Del by del qj dot, qj dots are generalized velocities. This is called del t upon del qj dot is called your generalized momenta. Try to understand easily. If I would have taken del by del qj dot, and what was this? It was your a qj dot qk dot. Then what will happen? A simply qk dot. This is generalized momenta. A is maybe having dimensions of mass. This is qk dot. This is called generalized momenta. Pj is defined as del t by del qj dot. So dot is very careful instead of the dot means it is derivative with respect to time. This is generalized momenta. Then generalized force. Generalized force. Concept of force is that work done by whatever I am writing, W is phi I, if I call generalized force, phi I dq or phi j dqj, work done must be phi j dqj. This must be equal to Fi is the real force, del Ri upon del qj into your dqj. Fi dw, generalized force into generalized displacement. Generalized force into your generalized displacement. Fi qj delta qj. This, or I would have written dqj. Work done. Phi j is called generalized force. Phi j is called my generalized force. dqj is your generalized displacement. So phi j dqj dimensionally is that of work done. How I can write phi j dqj? I would have written Fi del Ri by del qj into your dqj. So what is phi j from here? Phi j is nothing, Fi del Ri upon your del qj. Fi is the force. Fi is the force acting on the ith particle. We will explain in due course of time. So phi j is the generalized force. Without getting into the derivation, it is uncalled for. I am just directly quoting what is. And now I am defining a function Lagrangian of any dynamical system. L is nothing, T minus your V. T is the kinetic energy, which I have already defined, half mi Ri dot square, that is the kinetic energy, and V is called potential or potential energy. Definitely you know what is the potential energy, simple words, minus F dot dr. If forces are drawn from the potential energy, this kind of thing is written, then potential energy is for a conservative system. For a conservative system, V must be only function of Qj. V must be only function of Qj. It is only dependent upon position. It should not be dependent upon the derivatives. It should not be, V cannot be function of V Qj dot. Try to understand this. Potential cannot be function of Qj dots. It should not be dependent upon velocity for system to be conservative. Good. These are the few basic definitions. So Lagrangian of a system can be easily written L. So what is the T function of? T is a function of your Qj dot. V is a function of your Qj, correct? So L must be function of what? L must be function of Qj dot. Good. Qj dot. For a conservative system. In general, what is Lagrangian equation of motion? Lagrangian equation of motion of any system is d by dt del T upon del Qj dot d by dt del T upon del Qj dot minus del T upon del Qj is equal to your phi j, where phi j is what? Generalized force. Generalized force. And how I am defining generalized force? Delta W was your phi j delta Qj, which was also phi j. I would have easily written delta W upon delta Qj. That is also I would have written phi j. W is the work done, delta W upon delta Qj. And phi j also I would have written here, the same thing I would have written Fi delta Ri upon del Qj into del Qj. Fi dr, because del W has to be dimension equal to Fi delta Ri. So I have written Fi dot delta Ri upon del Qj, delta Qj. So your phi j is del W upon del Qj, del W upon del Qj, which is same as Fi, the force acting on the ith particle, real force measured in the Newton, dot with dri upon your dqj. That is also I would have defined. So this is one way of writing the Lagrangian equation of motion. Whether the system is conservative or non-conservative, this can be written into this particular format. Try to understand. If the system is my, so phi j was your del W upon del Qj, phi j is Fi dot with dri upon your dqj, correct? That is this thing. For a conservative system, for the conservative system, Lagrangian equation of motion is d by dt del L upon del Qj dot. Most of the problems given are your conservative, so I can always write. Conservative means potentials are only function of generalized coordinates. They are not dependent upon velocity. That's it. So definitely then if the potential is a function of Qj, then force will be also function of your Qj, and system is said to be conservative. Force can always be expressed as a gradient of that function. So d by dt of del L by del Qj dot minus del L by del Qj is 0. This is Qj dot, and here it is simply Qj is 0. This is the Lagrangian equation of motion in terms of Lagrangian. And if the force can be easily written, work done can be written, then I can write in terms of this thing also, where this is del W by del Qj. Try to appreciate. Both ways I can use in different problems. So from this, that other thing will also come. I can just show you that this generalized expression d by dt del L by del Qj dot minus del L by del Qj is 0. Try to understand this thing. L is what? D by dt del by del Qj dot L is your T minus V minus del by del Qj T minus V is your 0, correct? So this becomes d by dt del T upon del Qj dot minus d by dt del V upon del Qj dot minus del T upon del Qj plus del V upon del Qj is 0. So in terms of kinetic energy, I would have written d by dt del T upon del Qj dot minus del T upon del Qj is equal to minus del V upon del Qj plus d by dt of del V upon del Qj dot, correct? This is generally your generalized force. try to appreciate. I'm just this is your phi j. This is my phi j. d by dt del t upon del qj dot minus del t upon del qj is equal to minus del v upon del qj. V means work potential, only function of qj, plus d upon dt del v upon del qj dot. If it is a conservative system, then this is 0. For a conservative system, otherwise this whole expression is called as generalized force del W by del Qj will turn out to be this whole term. This term is for conservative system, this term is for a non-conservative system, because for non-conservative systems potential may be a function of Qj dot also. For a conservative system, V is only function of Qj, del V by del Qj dot is your 0. This term is finished. So this is your simple force, minus del V by del Qj is generalized. For a conservative system, F is equal to minus grad V, which I can always write minus del by del Qj of your V for a conservative system. So for a conservative system, this equation reduces to, in terms of kinetic energy, it reduces to simply minus del V by del Qj, that was my phi j. Phi j. For non-conservative system, that additional term also comes into the play in the generalized force. So generalized force takes into account conservative system as well as non-conservative system once I am writing in terms of this kinetic energy. So for very simply, if the system is conservative, that means forces are only position dependent or potential is only position dependent, not dependent upon velocities, derivatives of the generalized coordinates. Whether the force or potential, they should not contain Qj dots. If they are not, then system is your conservative. And for conservative system, very well in terms of kinetic energy, I would have written d by dt del t upon del Qj dot minus del t upon del Qj is your simply minus del V upon del Qj or del W by del Qj, where V is what your potential energy, that is the energy due to its position. And how potential energy is simply written minus F dot your dr. You know why minus sign comes? This is the definition of potential energy. For a conservative system, kinetic energy plus potential energy has to be constant. For this, only minus sign will make it constant, and that is what I have demonstrated. So this is, in terms of Lagrangian, same thing could be written d by dt del L by del Qj dot minus del L by del Qj 0, correct, for conservative systems. So this much theory is good enough. Once again, just recall what I require. Generally, I would write d by dt del L by del Qj dot minus del L by del Qj 0. I am working for conservative systems. That means V is only function of your Qj. V is your only function of Qj, and force Fi can be written as minus del Vi by del Qj. That is out. This is the Lagrangian equation of motion. So what is Lagrangian? Lagrangian is simply here T minus V. What is T? Summation half Mi Ri dot square. So Ri's are generalized velocities. I can easily write Lagrangian is written. Then J is 1 to small n. What is small n? Degree of freedom. If the degree of freedom of the system is 2, then how many equations I need to work out? I need to work out 2 equations. 2 degrees of freedom are there, then 2 second order differential equations I need to work out. As many as are the degrees of freedom, same number of equations of motion we need to work out. And degree of freedom is what? Minimum number of independent coordinates required to describe the motion, correct? So now I will give you one simple illustration. There are many illustrations. I am doing the case of simple pendulum. What is simple pendulum? Simple pendulum is a bob attached to a string from some fixed point. Correct? If I choose this point as the origin of coordinate, this could have been, if I could have called your x, or this I would have called x, this would have been called y. How many coordinates are required to describe the motion of this bob of mass m? 2 coordinates are required. But there is a constant. Motion is in a plane, 2 coordinates will be required. Constant is that this length is fixed. Length of the string is fixed. So even if I would have written, then in terms of this coordinate, if I would have called xy, then x square plus y square is equal to L square. What is this? This is equation of constant. For all times to come, the constant is that x square plus y square will be equal to L square is fixed. Good. Or, so out of 2 coordinates xy, how many of them are independent now? Only one is independent. Good. So degree of freedom of the system is what? What is degree of freedom? N. That is only your 1. Because one of them can already be expressed in terms of other. Good. But generalized coordinate, I choose that coordinate is the best coordinate out of Cartesian or spherical polar. If I would have chosen that I represent theta, this is theta, then this could have been r called r. This is the baseline. This is theta, then this would have been r. So in r theta coordinates, r will be L is constant. One constant. So only what is the best coordinate required to describe? Only by theta. Motion can be described by theta. So only one degree of freedom is 1. I can say Qj is your Q1 is simply your theta. Good. So now in terms of theta I am going to write what will be here its velocity. When theta dot in r theta coordinates, when I am choosing r theta, then velocity is given by, never forget, r dot r cap plus r theta dot theta cap. Here this is finished. So only your velocity will be your L theta dot. So kinetic energy, what will be kinetic energy of this system of one particle? Half m L square theta dot square. One particle, 1 degree of freedom, kinetic energy is this, correct? And motion is only under gravity, no other force. Gravitational force is a conservative force, is a conservative system. I need to write, so kinetic energy becomes half m L square theta dot square. Clear? Now I require only potential energy. So how much height? This is this much from the level. So this total is your L. This is what? L cos theta. Potential energy from this level, how much height? L minus L cos theta. So potential energy could be easily mgh. Same thing, anything above the ground, whatever height, I write standard value is mgh above. Down minus mgh, reference level. So here it will be mg, L minus cos theta. Correct? You need not have any problem into this. And generalized coordinate I have chosen Q1 to be chosen as theta. So what would have been like? This is a conservative system. Holonomic constant d by dt del L by del Qj dot minus del L by del Qj 0, correct? So L, what is Lagrangian here? T minus V, half m L square theta dot square minus mg L 1 minus cos theta, correct? That is my Lagrangian has been written in terms of theta. Now get, so this equation will reduce here d by dt del L upon what? Del theta dot minus del L by del theta is 0. This is the equation of motion of this simple pendulum. So del L by del theta dot. What is del L by del theta dot? Tell me. M L is square 2 theta dot. That is simply ML is square theta dot. Finished. This is this term. Del L by del theta. What is del L by del theta? Minus minus plus MGL. Differentiation of cos theta is your sin theta. So I am just rewriting. D by dt. Substitute here. ML is square theta dot minus minus plus MGL sin theta is 0. This is the equation of motion of simple pendulum. So now you can easily write ML is square theta double dot plus MGL sin theta is 0. Angles are small, I could have easily chosen sin theta is theta. So your theta double dot plus MGL upon ML square theta is 0. MM का GL by your G by your, so theta is 0. This is nothing. Theta double dot is minus G by L theta. I would have written your mu theta, which is nothing but the, yes, Achha. So it performs simple harmonic motion. Rest is whatever we have done in the case of dynamics. So that is how this is the system is having only one degree of freedom. Now I will take another question where there are 2 degrees of freedom may be required. Motion under central force. Trajectory is not known. Trajectory is not known, because if the trajectory is known, then there will be only 1 degree of freedom. So I am choosing Q1 to be R, Q2 to be theta. Velocity you know is nothing, R dot R cap plus R theta dot theta cap. V square is nothing, R square plus R square theta dot square. So IT का connecting nothing, half m R dot square plus R square theta dot square. And what is potential? Minus FR dr. That is the potential part. So Lagrangian can be written. L is nothing, T minus V half m R dot square plus R square theta dot square minus minus plus FR dr. Correct? That is how the Lagrangian is written for the motion under central force. Now Q1 is your R. So one equation of motion will become d by dt del L upon del R dot minus del L by del R is 0. So what is del L by del R dot? What is del L by M R dot? M R dot. What is del L by del R? Del L by del R is nothing. Del L by del R. R. Yeah. PFR plus this term M R 2R R square 2R M R theta dot square. Correct? That is del L by del R. So this will become d by dt M R dot minus del L. This is minus M R theta dot square is plus minus here, minus F of R is your 0. Correct? So try to appreciate. This becomes nothing. EMR double dot minus MR theta dot square is nothing, your F of R. So here also it becomes EM R double dot minus R theta dot square is your F of R. That is what in Newtonian mechanics I have obtained. Same equation of motion result into this. In Newtonian mechanics, central force motion in the dynamics, I have worked this out. Now second equation of motion will become Q2 as your theta. So I have to get d by dt del L by del theta dot minus del L by del theta 0. Now you differentiate and tell me what is del L by del theta dot. What is del L by del theta dot? M R square theta dot. What is del L by del theta? 0. So second equation gives you nothing. D by dt of m r square theta dot is 0. M r square theta dot is constant, which I call it J, that is 2. So they also reduce to the Newtonian equations of motion. But this is easy to deal with. Lagrangian, here I am not interested into what kind of forces are acting. I can easily work out. Good. I conclude the class at this end.